Hello everyone, my name is Raymond, you may also know me as Rayvision, and welcome to this week's Forza Horizon 3 Top 10 list. Now before we get started, unlike usual where I tell you what the next week's Top 10 list and ask you to leave suggestions, I can't do that because for next week I'm hoping that enough news are going to be coming out about Need for Speed Payback and or Forza Motorsport 7 that I can do a dedicated Top 10 list to one of those games. So what you can do is follow me on Twitter. And while you're watching E3, because I hope you will, because I will be watching, if you see something cool, a cool feature or something new they've announced that you're really hyped about, tweet at me, and I will be looking into those things so that I can include everyone into the top 10 list. With all that having been said, today we're going to be counting down the top 10 barn finds. So, let's get started. So in my opinion, there is no better way to start the top 10 list of the barn finds than with our Ferrari. So without further ado, at number 10 we have the 1969 Ferrari Dino 246 GT. And this thing, well, first off, if I found this abandoned in a barn and I had somehow the money to restore it, if I didn't, I'd probably go bankrupt trying to restore it. It's a cool car, let me tell you that. It's not the best sounding car, not the most powerful car. It's great to look at, and it's also a classic. Not only is it a classic, it's also a legend, which is why not only is it deserving of being a barn find, it is also deserving of being on this list. Speaking of Ferraris, at number 9 we have one of Ferrari's biggest competitors at the time of the 246, and that being Porsche. Now this Porsche in particular, I don't think it was exactly a competitor of the 246, considering the fact that this one came out in 1957, and it is the Porsche 356A Speedster. Wow, that is a mouthful. And this thing, well, first off, it's a cool Porsche to look at. I love the twin exhausts in the back. Also, in my opinion, it's one of the better sounding cars, especially when you lift off the throttle. When you're accelerating, nothing special happens, but when you lift off, it gives you a nice, relaxing butt. I don't know how to describe it. If you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about, but it's a cool car overall, and that is why it is at number 9. At number 8, we have the 1970 International Scout 800A, and I am going to be completely honest, until this list arrived, apart from the car being in Forza, I knew jack nothing about this car. Like, I did not know what the hell this thing was. I knew it was an off-road vehicle, I'll tell you that. So here are a few things that I learned that I'll share with you. The International Scout was actually made by a company called International Harvester, and it was produced between the years from 1961 to 1980. It's sort of an SUV off-roader sort of thing. It can come in a two-door SUV or a two-door pickup truck style. In Forza, we are treated with the SUV style. Basically, it's an off-road car, and it goes off-road, and it's good, and you guys like it, and that's why it's on this list. There you go. At number 7, we are greeted by a Lamborghini-ish, sort of. More specifically, the 1982 Lamborghini Lm002. So technically, it is a Lamborghini, it's four-wheel drive, it's immensely heavy. It's all the workings of a Lamborghini in my mind, except unless someone told me it was a Lamborghini, I would not have known. I've been known to mistake these often on stream, and people like to get mad at me for that reason, but you guys like it, and I think it's a fun car driver in Forza, especially if you're trying to bully people. So for that, it gets number 7 on this list. At number 7, we have a car that kind of left me a little bit perplexed, and that being the 1973 Nissan Skyline Ht 2000 GTR. Now the reason why this car may have left me perplexed is, even though I have all the barn finds, or most of them in fact, I haven't really taken the time to drive them that much or get to know them, and it's the first time I've noticed this GTR, and it's very confusing because it's a Skyline and a GTR, but it confuses me by the fact that it has GTR backlights, but it looks like an American muscle car from the front. I may be the only one who thinks this, And you may get mad at me for saying that, but it left me very confused. Nonetheless, it is a cool car, it is a barn find, and if I ever found one of these in my backyard, boy, would I ever be happy. Now, I'm going to be honest, until now a lot of these cars have flown under my radar and I've never really noticed them, which is why I'm happy to announce at number 5 that we have the Ford Deluxe 5-window coupe. And this thing, in my opinion, my honest opinion, is one of the best looking cars in Forza Horizon 3. Having not paid a lot of attention into it before, having seen it now, it is cool. It's not the best at cornering, it's not the best at accelerating, doesn't have a great sound, but in my mind, you give it a few upgrades here or there, and this thing could be one of the better drift cars. At least it looked cool drifting in my mind's eye, so I'm gonna make this a drift build. I know it. Now, some of you may recognize number 4 from either a previous challenge me and Nick did at the very beginning of Forza Horizon 3, or if you watch a Grand Tour, they may have taken these things out for rip, if you know what I mean. And that is the 1971 Meyers Manx. Now, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. If I am, please let me know. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, hooray for me. This, basically, for lack of a better word, is a beach buggy. And we've never had a beach buggy before in Forza. And the fact that it's a barn find in Australia, well, to me, that just sounds perfect. And that's why it made it to number 4 on this list. Now at number 3, I kind of do and I kind of don't understand why this car is so high on this list. Part of me is like, well, why would you put it here? And then the other part of me is like, yes, this is perfect. And that is the 1972 Reliant Superman 3. This thing, well, if you guys don't know what it is, it has 3 wheels. And if you've seen the video on Top Gear, it's kind of why we were so excited to have it in Forza. Not only was it a barn find, but it's a car we've kind of always wanted, not because we actually enjoy driving it, but we enjoy making fun of it while we crash and roll, even though we only do that like once and then we're bored of it. And yet, it made it to number 3 on this list, which means it had to have been far more enjoyable than I thought it actually was. Finally, we've made it to the top 2, which have switched positions many times, but the final vote, or at least when I closed voting, this was their position. You have the 1993 Nissan Skyline GTR V-Spec behind by 1 vote in 2nd place. And you know what? I'm just happy that it made it in the top 3. This car is deserving. Not only it is one of the original kings of JDM, at least in my mind. I may be completely wrong. People get mad at me in comments. But it is one of the best sounding wind-up turbos in the game, in my opinion. When you accelerate, you can hear it, and you can hear it when you decelerate, and you can just, it's there. It actually exists. It's not the same sound as every other car. I just love the sound of this car. It's so grippy. It's just a great car, period. It's not even just barn finds. It's just a great car, period. It's just good. It's good. It's great. And that's why it's in 2nd. We have made it to number 1, and I'm assuming that most of you who haven't seen this car yet on this list know what's coming up next. And that is the 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona Hemi. This car is iconic, and they had to have it in the game, but the fact that they made it a barn find is really cool to me and really unforgivable. First off, who would be able to abandon this car? Second off, it is so cool, the fact that you're able to restore it and then drive it around. I just love it. It's such a cool car. Sounds incredible, drives really well, even stock, and it has a giant wing on the back. I don't know what it's for, but it looks cool, and that makes me smile. Well guys, that is going to be it for today's top 10 list. As usual, please leave your top 10 recommendations in the comments down below. For next week's list, please follow me on Twitter and message me directly, or just tweet at me so that I can know what you guys think should be in the top 10 list. for Forza Motorsport 7 and or Need for Speed Payback, or maybe some other car racing game that we did not know about that ends up showing up at E3. Who knows? I'm really looking forward to that. As usual, hope you all enjoyed. Please, if you haven't already, like, share, comment, subscribe. As well, follow me on social media and on Twitch. Links are in the description down below. My name is Raymond, and I will see you all in the next one.